All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome into another Roulette Rivals World Championships 2022 matchup. We are in the winner's bracket right now. This is a winner's bracket round one match between the Buff Guy and BluntsNBeatz. I am Barbecue, and I am joined for this shoutcast by Gunthermation. Hello, Gunther.
Barb, thanks so much for having me. Good to see you.
Hey man, yeah, always a pleasure. Thanks for joining. Really excited for this match. This is a big one. Blunts, Buff, two really good players.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's even an understatement.
Yeah.
These two,
Yeah.
I mean, they're names that you recognize, right? And they show that pretty well in their play. I'm really excited that the first map is Mumbai. I think that's going to be a lot of fun to watch, especially both of these players.
Mm-hmm.
You can see the lifetime performance on screen now. Obviously, this is one of Buff's favorite maps. He talks about it a lot, and he's 6-2-1 on this map. Meanwhile, BluntsNBeatz, less so fortunate with an 0-3 record, but that doesn't mean that it can't change. Will it change against Buff? Who's to say? Who knows?
Yeah, this was definitely a tactical pick by Buff. And I feel like we definitely see that at this stage in the tournament. Players are picking and banning maps very tactically at this point. They're trying to play their opponents on their weak maps, and they're trying to ban their strong maps. So I think that's sort of factored in here, at least with his pick for Mumbai. Blunts obviously has chosen Sapienza. I know Buff's pretty good on Sapienza, though. Maybe Blunts just kind of picked a map he felt confident on there. But we'll see. We're heading to Sapienza after we take care of business on Mumbai. So why don't you tell us, Gunther? Go ahead. What are we doing here while we're in Mumbai?
Yeah, absolutely. We have Wazir Kale, who needs to be killed with consumed poison while disguised as the elite thug. Vanya Shah needs to be killed in an explosive accident while disguised as a laundry worker. And Dawood Rangan needs to be killed with an assault rifle disguised as the thug. So, yeah, I mean, consume poison kill. Obviously, there's not really a ton of ways to do that. So we're likely to see something similar from both players there. Where it's going to get interesting is the Vanya and Dawood kills. Obviously, Vanya can be a drive-by kill, and the Thug disguise is essentially free and near where you got to go get Dawood anyway. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, this has potential to be fairly quick. Obviously, just kind of tied to the timing on Kale here.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And also the one thing that kind of stands out to me with this poison kill for the Maelstrom is like, which wine glass is it I'm supposed to poison again? It's like it's one of the two. I feel I can't even. Whatever I would say would end up being the opposite.
I am concerned because yeah, you said that, and I was just like, oh, there's two wine glasses because
Yeah.
I don't even know which one to tell you. It's just the one that I know to go to. So I'd have to see it first,
Oh,
and hopefully still get it right at this point.
Blunts is trying to get himself into the laundry foreman office, or what do you do there? He just like panicked some people by shooting the door. I don't know what his goal was there with that, but he needs laundry worker disguise, not laundry foreman. Of course, there
I mean,
is.
obviously there is a laundry worker that's in there that you can get.
Yeah.
If that's the way that he was thinking about doing that, but yeah, I'm not quite sure. And was very lucky there and able to get away because it obviously could have gone incredibly badly. Now he's got the entire laundry area panicked though.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's gonna send him into a restart there.
Right.
We do have Buff loading in finally. He's starting in the Chawls. Interesting.
Right, yeah. I mean, and Blunts was loaded in. I think his in-game timer was around 40-something seconds, and that was a heck of a lead.
Mm.
And it's all been blown, and we're about even keeled at this point.
Yeah, roughly. Pretty close here. So, I mean, and this is interesting. I feel like whenever you get a spin that's not the typical Skywalk start, it kind of frees up a bit more approach in terms of like where you want to start. And that's exactly what we're seeing here with Blunt still opting to use the Skywalk start, even though it's definitely not necessary. It's still a viable location. It's pretty central. But Buff going for the Charles strat or starting location. He does get himself a quick thug disguise, but he's going back up the Charles. Is this to maybe grab the lethal poison that's in the room here, I wonder? Yes, he's actually grabbing the pills from
Okay.
the room there.
Yeah, no, that's excellent.
Free
And yeah,
lethal
I think
poison.
I think it's important to note as well that when you do the skywalk start, I believe that the maelstrom will automatically be called up to the hill.
Mm-hmm.
And so that might be a benefit of Blunts if he can get this poison set up. Then he doesn't have to worry about calling the maelstrom to the hill, whereas Buff will. Um, but I'm not sure if that's the thinking here. If it's just you start from one location a million times, it's what you're most comfortable with.
Right. That's a good point. There is some variance, I think, in how the maelstrom is triggered to approach the hill, although I don't know what all the differences are in the timings or if he approaches the hill at all or not, depending on what start you choose. That's something that definitely the Mumbai Masters probably have that sort of knowledge. Um, but yeah, thankfully, if he doesn't approach on his own, he can be told to come up by raising the flag. But if there is a soft time checkpoint, then you have to be able to make that, obviously.
Yeah,
But Blunt
absolutely.
is beginning to clear out the train yard here in
Yeah,
hopes of being able to drive by Vanya, but this time is approaching for when the maelstrom approaches the hill and will be drinking
yeah.
from that wine glass. So he's got to
Did you
be.
see the picture in picture? The hill,
Mhm.
like the flag has already been raised, and so
He's diverting course right now, and I feel like it's already too late at that point. Like when you're
it's gonna
notified
be
of the
it's
picture in
gonna be
picture.
close. I mean, remember he's got plenty of time,
Mm.
because the maelstrom will still need to be.
He gets
He'll need to
changed.
go to that, yeah, where he gets changed and stuff.
Mm.
He'll need to get himself into all the way over, and then he needs to talk to Neha as well. So I feel like he's got plenty of time
Sure,
to
sure.
get this set up. But you're right, he needs to get it set up now. Buff, meanwhile, is having a little bit of difficulty here. He does have a thug heading his way right now. Looked like he was about to knock him out. Now, the benefit of Buff's approach here is Maelstrom is not going to move until he sends him with the raising of the flag himself.
Which
Ooh,
he.
look at this peekaboo timing here. Okay. So BluntsNBeatz is able to get the poison off, and obviously there was the elite thug that was brought upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is nice. He's going to be able to get himself the elite thug disguise. I really like the use of the Queen's Guard outfit in order to um, basically drop off the outfit he needs for Vanya.
Mm-hmm.
That should serve him pretty well.
All right, Buff is raising the flag now,
Yep,
and
and he's got himself a brick as well, so he'll be able to do that lore when it gets going.
that must be, I think, something relating to the Chawl start. Um, I think the reason Buff did that was because he wanted to be close to the consumed poison, and it also must offer some greater control over summoning the Maelstrom to the hill. Uh,
Maybe, yeah, because I think it's seriously
oh, what
just.
is he?
Oh
He
no,
just dropped the snail.
he just used the snail by mistake, and yeah, he's restarting immediately because he doesn't want to do any type of backup plan to try and isolate Dawood,
Yeah,
despite the fact that he was fairly well into this spin.
four
Um,
minutes.
yeah, and I mean, this is really, really good for Blunts,
Ouch.
obviously, because he's got the Maelstrom sitting down right now. The Maelstrom is going to drink the poison, and he's got his thug disguise that he can change into immediately after. Come on, wait for the XP to pop.
There it
Can't change
is.
too early. There it is. He's got the poison elimination in the correct disguise, and that is one kill down and one incredibly long kill for Buff
Mm-hmm.
down. So as long as he can get the rest of this clean, Blunts is in a commanding position. That's where consume poison can throw certain players. If you run into an issue like that, and then you have to restart, now you're way behind where you were.
Yeah, consume poison kills are just really rigid in terms of uh being hard deadlines, like time checkpoints that you have to be it's just not going to happen. Like if it's not going to happen until 4 minutes and 20 seconds into a spin or whatever.
Hmm.
Uh, and if you just have a lot of work that you have to do to get everything set up before those happen. So it definitely makes the spin more interesting, except perhaps for Ludmilla consume poison. I'd say that's
Yeah.
probably the least interesting consume poison that you could see in a roulette spin.
Well, and Blunts is not out of the woods yet because he's got his laundry worker disguise. He should have this accidental explosive kill on Vanya done, but he does still have two bodies out in the open. So if this does
Oh
not go
no!
well, oh, and she just gets knocked down. She wasn't close enough to it, and that's
Oh
kind of part of the problem.
god!
That is going to red guns him because that is not. Yeah, so that's going to be a restart from him as well. I was so worried about that, but because I expected the Queen's Guards that he knocked out earlier, I expected their bodies to be found.
Yeah, and I don't know if anyone else has noticed, but Buff has unfortunately had a couple of rips and restarts here. I feel like his initial rip sort of maybe got him feeling a little bit like on the back foot, kind of,
Right.
just having a mistake like that can really kind of, I feel like most roulette players can relate to the feeling of just making some sort of error because like you press the wrong button, you accidentally snap someone's neck, or you get a non-target kill, whatever it is, it happens. It's part of playing the game, and it can sometimes mistakes like that can really kind of just present like an additional challenge in terms of like trying to get over, how
You're
you
right.
feel it kind of like is an obstacle to your momentum. But
And
that's
yeah,
part of
GK, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like that's just part of doing a roulette spin is like dealing with that kind of stuff. Like
Yeah.
those feelings of like what can feel like mounting mistakes, even if whether it is or isn't, it can feel that way, and that's definitely like a complication you got to deal with.
Well, and the pressure is on, obviously. You're in a competitive mode. You're in the winner's bracket of the World Championships for Roulette Rivals. You know that your opponent knows their stuff, and that is why they are here. And so it's not something where you can't bring your best game.
Mm-hmm.
And people who play roulette, they play a ton of Hitman. They know the game inside and out, and when something doesn't go the right way, it can completely offset you. But roulette, as me and GK Punk were talking about earlier today, even roulette is such a mental game because if you get in your own head and you tilt and you don't keep your calm and your composure, you can be in a very very bad situation really
Mm.
really quick.
Yeah, yeah, um, yeah. It's definitely possible to have those sorts of matches that just don't feel like they go super well, like or in your
Right.
favor. Sometimes the matches where you get swept, and we've all been there. Obviously, we have no idea how this is gonna go, but um, yeah, it's hard to overstate just the pressure of competing in this.
Yeah, because you got to get it right, and you know that people are watching. You know that. I mean, I'm adminning this match, so I'm scrutinizing the players' every move
Hmm.
because you have to, and it's something where you want to bring your best game. A lot of these players, Hitman is the main thing that they play, and you want to show your best when you're performing for this. But both players are still doing incredibly well. Like I'm not, I haven't seen anything where I was just like, oh, I can't believe they
Yeah,
did this.
sure,
That's
sure.
such a rookie mistake. Like these are things that are just going wrong for them, unfortunately.
It's just
Speaking
what
of things that
roulette
have gone
is.
wrong,
Yeah.
we see BluntsNBeatz here has brought somebody upstairs, but unfortunately it's Neha. And so he's not going to be able to get the elite thug disguise from Neha. He is going to try and do a peekaboo on the elite guard here and hide him in the bushes. This is a risky maneuver, but
Yeah,
it
especially because
is.
he's got this guard coming down the long way here.
Yeah. Oh, and he's not even in the bushes. This might very
Oh,
well get him seen.
I think he'll
Where's
be
Neha? Is
okay.
she on those stairs yet? Yeah. Okay. Excellent. I mean, I was incredibly nervous for that. And good is even going to drag the body around the corner and just make doubly sure that it's nice and tucked away in those bushes. That is a fantastic recovery there.
Yeah,
And
nice
yeah,
bit
he's
of
got
improv.
himself. He's got himself his disguise, the exact disguise that he needs, so he should be perfectly fine here.
So, okay, Blunts is clearing out this alley here behind the hill.
Yeah. And this is what
Goodness.
he did last time. That's his thug disguise. He can change right into it afterward, and then basically he's got everything that he needs. He just needs to go and take care of the remaining targets.
Mm-hmm. And take a look at the in-game time here between both players. Buff is about a minute behind Blunts, and they're still at pretty equal. Or I mean, Buff is catching up here, I would say.
Yeah.
How many Blunts doesn't have? He has no. He doesn't have Vanya down yet either. So, because he had restarted.
And
So
I'd
we're
imagine
still.
both players are going to go for a drive-by. I
Mhm.
don't know if Blunts is going to approach this differently. He does get the poison kill on the Maelstrom. He's waiting for the XP pop here. There it is. And that is going to be a nice and clean poison kill. And he's got his thug disguise. Yeah, he's got everything set up. If he can do this cleanly, he's got the lead because Buff has so much further to go here.
Mhm.
Now, Buff has, this is interesting. Buff has set up the poison kill, but he is still in his laundry worker disguise. He does not have his elite thug disguise.
He's gonna need to get into one real quick.
Yeah. Does he, is there an elite thug that he's heading for right now? Or is he just looking to set this up and drop off his laundry worker disguise, maybe?
Maybe he thinks he has more time. I think because he's going for the Charles Star, the Maelstrom probably has like a further distance to go to get to the hill.
Yeah.
So maybe he does have a bit more
he
time than we
does.
think.
He does. Like, I don't think that the Maelstrom is going to drink the poison until. I mean, he's still.
It won't be the same as Blunts because they had different
Yeah.
starts.
It's going to be. Yeah, because, I mean, it's like a 2-minute difference in terms of when he was brought up. And yeah, Blunts is going to leave.
Oh crap.
Oh, no. And Buff's in a bit of trouble here as
Oh
he did not
man.
shoot out.
He's dragging this guy. Oh my gosh, this isn't. There's
He
a
should be fine
chance.
there. He should be fine there.
There's a lady who walks around. Oh my god.
Oh, he's left the gun out as
This
well.
may attract the attention of someone on the roof.
That could have been a side KO. He's going to tuck this body back around. This is so nerve-wracking. And I
Blunts.
have an ad for Blunts, which is not ideal.
Okay, I see. Blunts gets a live. He gets red guns out of nowhere though. He somehow loses his green guns. He's shooting he's shooting the propane flask.
Work. I don't think this is going to work because that explosion, I think, might lure some guards over.
It definitely would.
And they are going to see the Queen's Guards' bodies. Speaking of luring guards over,
Blunts has one. Oh yeah, yeah. That's so that KO was heard, and he does a stairs karate chop, but I don't think it matters.
He's okay. I think he's okay. He still kept his green guns.
He's trying to get into an elite thug disguise now because the poison kill is probably going to pop any second. He's in.
Oh, man. I feel like that was close. I don't know how long he's got, but I feel like that was pretty close.
What happened with Blunts here, I wonder? I got a black screen.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's a game crash or what. Not seeing any messages yet.
It was a crash. He's rebooting.
Okay. That's unfortunate, but obviously he had red guns, so that does not necessarily affect the outcome of the match. And so there's not much that we can do here for Blunts, unfortunately. We'll factor this crash time into the photo finish window, if indeed it looks like it will matter. Buff has the poison kill, and now he is in a commanding position, because he also has all of his stuff set up. He hasn't taken out the Queen's Guards, so he shouldn't have to worry about any of those bodies being found. If this is going to be a true drive-by, and what I assume is going to be the way that Buff is going to go about this, I'm not sure if he has a breacher or anything like that. He seems to not remember where the propane flask is.
He'll find it. He just wants to start the brick lure. But I also think the reason that why Blunts got red guns there was because he, for some reason, even though he was drive-buying, Vanya, he still pacified those two guards who were sitting in front of
Right.
the shipping container, right? And then
I
so
think that was to drop off his laundry worker disguise. It was a good optimization in terms of that way he had less stops to make.
sure.
Whereas we saw Buff had to kind of bring that disguise with him a lot further, and his in-game time is way later than BluntsNBeatz. But I don't see a scenario where those bodies don't get found after
The
the loud explosion.
the metal workers would be a better place to drop a disguise because that's far enough away that they won't be alerted by any explosion and you can still leave your disguise there.
Yeah.
But Buff,
There's the drive-by,
yeah,
and he's got no bodies out. It was a full accident kill. He should be perfectly fine.
pure drive-by.
This is
One
yeah, and
kill to go.
I keep having, unfortunately, I keep having ads pop up, which is not ideal. So if anything happens that I need to see, Barb, I'm relying on you.
Yeah,
And
you'll be able to review it on my pod. There's no ads have popped up yet. I don't
okay,
know if I'm
I'm not sure
subscribed to.
what's happening. This is the most that's happened
Yeah, I
to
don't
me
know.
so far.
I don't think I have
But
active subs to these guys right now, but
I'll keep an eye on it.
well, Buff's
But,
8 minutes in, 8.5 minutes in. Blunts has restarted and is a minute and 30 seconds in. Buff's looking real strong here. Needs to get
Very strong.
Dawood. Always a bit of tension with this, final. Usually he's the final kill of a spin. Not always, but most of the time. You got to drop this snail at just the right time. As everyone's
This is one of the things that like I know I learned this technique from watching Buff do it. So, I feel confident in Buff's abilities to pull this off.
sure.
But obviously, and I think that Blunts is taking your advice here. Look, he's knocked out the metal workers in this room, and that's
Yeah,
where he's dropping off his laundry worker disguise.
good call.
Um, he does have the Maelstrom on his way, and so he does have to get up there to go ahead and poison.
Yep. He's getting up there and making the setup happen. Buff has timed this throne distraction to bring the cab driver / food vendor over here.
Yeah, this could be the match right here. If Buff pulls this off cleanly, this could very well just be the final thing that we see here for this map.
Yep, everyone's going down.
That's 4 clean KOs, and there's Dawood taken down.
No problem. And there is the assault rifle kill, disguised in the thug outfit. Buff's heading for an exit, looking real solid. And that's awesome to see, too, that he kind of was able to recover. I was a bit worried there that after that first rip where he dropped the snail, that that it was just going to be something that just kind of broke his momentum a bit and present an obstacle to overcome. But he did overcome it. He got back on top. He got control of his attempt and got it done before Blunts could.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
and Silent Assassin as well. And you're right, though. He dropped that snail, and then it took him a few more goes to get himself back in his rhythm. And but once he did, yeah, he cleanly went all the way through.
and we can see that he was unhappy, like when it happened, right?
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
some players like stream with their cams on. Many of them don't though, and they'll communicate their frustration with like mouse wiggles and stuff. But yeah, like stuff like that definitely makes you be like, okay, like try to get on top of it again. And that can be a real hard thing to do. But awesome to see that Buff was able to do it, and really well played by Blunts as well.
Yeah.
Made a couple mistakes and learned a couple lessons. Roulette is a teacher of many lessons.
Indeed. And a great teacher of patience, I think that we can all agree.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we've got our next map coming up at 26 past the hour. I gave us a little bit of extra time because I am going to try and fix what's wrong here on my end of things so that hopefully we don't run into as many ad things just in case, because I really don't want to miss something important that comes through.
Sure.
So, but yeah, we'll be going here fairly shortly.
Sapienza, chosen by BluntsNBeatz. So, Buff been here 3 times. officially, and victorious every time. Blunts has been here twice, has been victorious every time. So someone is taking home an L tonight. I imagine Blunts picked this because he feels pretty confident and capable in Sapienza, but clearly Buff is too. So we will see who. I don't want to say who the lesser Sapienza player is, but it will be whoever has a less efficient Sapienza.
I think that is a fair thing to say, and I'm also I would not be surprised to see this one potentially go the way that we just saw Mumbai go. If it's something where one player struggles over the other, we could see many lead shifts here.
Yeah, a lot of back and forth. And I like that. It makes for a more dramatic watch. You know, like there's something to be said for like a race that's just over in 2.5 minutes on a map like Dartmoor or Dubai or something like that. But when players are kind of having a hard time or mistakes are being made or bad luck is happening and it's a bit more dramatic. You know, the timer's running down and you can just sort of get a feeling of like fatigue setting in. You know, it's not necessarily fun to be there in that perspective as a competitor, but it is more interesting. It makes the stakes feel higher, you know, from for a viewer at least.
I think so. And I think time and time again, we have seen where, players can get into their own head about things and then they take a moment, they take a breath, and they come back out of it and go, okay, I just got to kind of go in there and play my game. And then that's the run that they get, like
Mm-hmm.
taking that deep breath and not worrying about where your opponent is sometimes very necessary. It's what makes roulette such a mental game.
Yeah. Yeah, roulette is definitely a big mental game for sure. As much as it is about improvisation and adaptability, and we can plan and practice things over and over again until a certain muscle memory is burned into our brain. But at the end of the day, things don't always go as they're planned. And when they don't go as they're planned, the question becomes, you know, can you salvage a situation that is, before it becomes totally foobar?
Very true.
And I love seeing players come up with ways of doing that when they think fast and come up with some kind of distraction or diversion. Love to see that.
Absolutely. And that's the thing, right? We want the players to put on a good show, and we think that the best way to do that is for the players to do well, and let's just root for them alongside them. It's one of the most fun things to do as a roulette viewer.
Absolutely. Well, let's take a look here. Spin's just gotten in. We've got Silvio Caruso next snap as Mario the Red Plumber and Francesca DeSantis eliminated with a kitchen knife disguised as a lab technician. So, I am kind of curious if we might see a lab tech start, or I guess you can also grab that lab tech disguise from the church morgue. It looks like they're going to be doing a church morgue start, and this may also be because that's where the Red Plumber is.
Maybe. Yeah, I mean it's a lot of legwork
Yeah, a lot of back
to
and
kind
forth.
of exactly if that is the plan. But I think that this is going to be a lot of legwork anyway. You either start as a lab technician, you're going to have to go all the way out to grab the red plumber, and then all the way back to Caruso, or you just take the lab technician all the way up there now. Or it looks like BluntsNBeatz is going to be going for the red plumber first,
Mm-hmm.
and then we'll see what he does for the lab technician next. Obviously, both kills are going to require being next to the targets.
Yes. Nothing can be done remotely or from a distance. I suppose you could throw the knife, perhaps, at Francesca, but
Yeah, but not from across the map,
no.
unfortunately, which is where you would need to be. Well, BluntsNBeatz has the red plumber disguise, and so does Buff. Buff is
Okay.
choosing to take the sewers, and BluntsNBeatz has gone over top of the sewers, and he's now heading home to snap
Beautiful.
himself.
Blunts
Yeah, excellent use of
snipes that
sniper
door
rifle.
open there, yeah.
We
For
see a
sure.
lot of sniper rifle use on Sapienza. It is a very,
Yes.
very versatile weapon to have. But yeah, I've not seen that shot, but that is definitely going to be helpful in getting into the mansion itself.
Snipers are pretty awesome, right? Like you can put them in a briefcase, you can bullet distract with them, you can blast open doors.
Yep,
Sometimes you can make an audio distraction with the shot from a sniper itself, which can be useful. Uh,
very versatile weapon.
yeah, the fact that it's in a briefcase gives you all the advantages of having a briefcase on hand as well. So yeah, makes does a lot on Sapienza on a map like
Yeah,
Savvy. But
a lot of
Blunts
heavy
is
lifting.
sneaking through the kitchen here on the mansion grounds, going to be heading up to. Do you think we're gonna? I don't think we're gonna see Silvio done first. Like it's gonna be generally straight for Francesca, I would think.
I think so, especially given the timing, because you've still got Silvio is still golfing right now. I think if you get up here earlier, maybe, but I sincerely believe that we're gonna see Francesca first. He's gonna go ahead and clear out this area, and I don't know if that's just to drop off his disguise or what. Because he's not going for Francesca right away. He's got about 30
Wait,
seconds or so.
what's Blunts doing? Why is he on the restart?
I'm not sure.
He's got enough time to get to Francesca. Okay, he's not restarting. Yeah, he got enough time to get to Francesca
Okay,
still.
that might just be a pause to reevaluate and make sure that he's got all the conditions set up right.
Wait, switching back into the red plumber disguise.
Yeah, and he's letting that clock go. He might not be going up to Francesca first. Meanwhile, Buff is definitely going up to Francesca right now.
He
He's got
is. I
her
think
in a
Blunt
prime location.
is trying to get Silvio first. Yeah, he's coming into the observatory now.
Okay, excellent.
So what's the plan? What's the planny for Franny? I wonder.
That is a excellent question that has plagued the minds of philosophers for years.
So he dropped the briefcase where Blunt's dropped the briefcase where he did so that Silvio would see it once he starts walking into the observatory. So that way he can pacify each of the guards, one after the other.
Yeah, there goes Silvio. And yeah, it's a nice way to get this because just relying on their RNG being on your side is not ideal.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, there's the next snap for Caruso. So Blunts has their first kill, but he has missed Franny's timing, and so
Well,
he's
so
gonna
has
have to.
Buff. Interestingly,
That is true. Well, no, Buff he's got her isolated up there
that's true.
already, so he's good to go. But yeah, he's gonna have to come back. I think he picked up a kitchen knife on his way through. I didn't see if it was grabbed or not. We do see BluntsNBeatz returning back to the kitchen. He's gonna grab the kitchen knife now, so he has that for Francesca. Doesn't have the lab technician disguise, but he also doesn't have Francesca down.
Right. She's still in the wind. Oh, you know what? He's gonna do something crazy like snipe the virus or something to bring her down to the lab.
Oh, and get her in this. I mean, maybe
He's
that's
a he's a
totally
he,
possible.
he's a fan of strats like that. I think I'm very sure now that his reason for not grabbing Franny is entirely intentional.
This is and that could play to his favor if it works, but I mean, I don't know because
He's gonna snipe
you've
the
got
virus. Here she
Buff is gonna
comes.
have this virus taken care of here very shortly. And he's got himself his lab technician disguise right now. So now he just has a straight shot. He's just got to get himself back up. If he
So
has the
he's
kitchen knife,
this is interesting, right? Like he's moving to Franny, but Franny's moving towards Blunts now. So
that is true.
bit of a
Franny takes so long to get downstairs. This is
yeah.
gonna be interesting to see if
Yeah, Buff could reach
it
her
works.
before she can get down here fast enough, I think.
Yeah, because she has to take that call first, and then
Mm-hmm.
she starts moving. And right now, Buff doesn't have any guards that he's gonna have to deal with, but Blunts is gonna have two of Franny's guards that he's gonna have to take care of. Not to mention this current panic that's going on right now.
Right.
Oh, and he's running right into an enforcer right now. He is gonna get away, thankfully. That's very, very close. Yeah, Buff with kitchen knife in hand is heading
Boom.
straight towards Franny. There is the kill. As long as she does not get found, He's just got to get himself to an exit. And by the time he gets back down to the lab, he shouldn't have any of the panic to worry about.
I wonder if he's even gonna go for the seaplane exit, or if he might just like head for the car.
Maybe, I don't know, because he is in this disguise. Okay, he's swapping out. So yeah, he could just head straight for.
He's heading for
car
the.
exit.
That's what he looks to be doing. Blunts is in the lab technician disguise. He finally gets himself one amidst all that panic, and Francesca should be. She's still got a bit of a ways to go. It looks like so far away. Buff is free and clear.
Yeah,
I
he's in a really good
appreciate
position.
I appreciate that Blunts was trying to do something that isn't often seen here. Is a bit more creative and unique, and I would love to see him play this out and see how this ends. But facts don't lie. The timestamps don't lie. Buff, his approach is definitely faster, and he did it
Yeah.
in under 6 minutes in game time.
And I did like
Silent
the
Assassin
thinking here. I really like the thinking of, well, I'm not gonna go all the way back up there.
sure.
But maybe if he got her moving earlier and then took care of Silvio and met her here, like maybe that would work. But like, there's just so many moving parts in that scenario. I just don't see it working out quite as well. And yeah, I mean, Buff got his steps in. He had to go further, but yeah, and look at this. You've got the
Enforcer.
that's just an unfortunate
Lab technician walking up the
follow-up right
hallway there. So yeah, there was definitely a thought. I could appreciate the perspective there that Blunts had. Just like, I'll bring Francesca down to me. I don't have to run back up to her. But with how slowly she moves, and as you said, there's a phone call she has to take, and she's all the way up in another part of the villa. She's in like a totally separate building. She has to come down from the top floor of that building and then go into the other building and down the stairs. And it's just a long time to wait. 47 can get back up to her much quicker. Against any other opponent, though, it may have worked, but there was that enforcer that he ripped to that would need to be accounted for.
Yeah,
if it was going to be a winning strat. So cool to see, but not enough to overcome the strat that we saw from Buff. But now we're heading to Hokkaido.
right. And this is is this one picked by the players?
No, this is a Hitmaps pick.
This is okay. So the players pick the first two maps. The rest are RNG.
Correct.
And yeah, so this is the first of our randomly decided maps in Hokkaido. So sticking with another Season 1 map, Hokkaido has potential to be incredibly fast.
Yeah.
Hokkaido is famously a fast map. You can see the map record held by Pajero, Blythe, and Blythe again at 325.
Yeah.
And yeah, and lots of experience for Buff on this map. But he does sit at about a 500 record, just over 500. Meanwhile, BluntsNBeatz, less experience, but undefeated.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So this could, I mean, I honestly, I couldn't predict which way this could go. I've seen some of Blunt's perform on this map, and I know that he's really good and knows a lot about it, and obviously Buff super knowledgeable and strong on, I would say, all of the maps, but on paper, it looks pretty good for Blunts. Buff's definitely been out Hokkaido'd by some of the roulette players, but it makes sense too, because there's a lot of really good roulette players out there. I'm excited to see which way this shakes out here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like it's difficult, right? Because both these players, I feel like you can put any numbers on the screen you want, represent any stats. At the end of the day, like, it's gonna come down to which of these two players kind of maintains their cool and is able to get the spin done. We've seen a couple of restarts, a couple of longer strats not pay off, and especially with that Mumbai, with kind of going back and forth. Hokkaido is a map that very often can just be a one and done map when the spin comes up. So where a single restart really puts you on the back foot. Speaking of the back foot, BluntsNBeatz now has to win this in order to continue the matchup, because if Buff Guy takes this, it's going to be a sweep, he's going to move on to the second round, and BluntsNBeatz is going to get relegated to the lower bracket.
Yep. Yes. So Blunts does take this though. We could still see this momentum of the match switch here.
Absolutely.
But this,
I wouldn't count him out. That's the best part about roulette. Definitely would not count him out yet.
right? Well, tell us, what do we have, Gunther? Break it down for us.
We have Eric Soders, who needs to be killed using a shotgun while disguised as the hospital director, and Yuki Yamazaki, who needs to be killed with an electrocution while disguised as the baseball player.
Ooh.
So this is
yes.
a fun one.
Yeah.
We've got 2 unique disguises. Obviously, the hospital director is going to get you access to the baseball player disguise, if you so choose. The shotgun itself does not have to be loud. It can be a silent shotgun. The electrocution can be a remote kill as well. I very much doubt that we're going to see players go after Yuki Yamazaki while disguised in the hostile disguise of the baseball player. So interesting. I'm interested to see how these players tackle this, because when I saw electrocution baseball player, I immediately went to the banned condition page on the document website, because I was like, there's no way that this is going to be allowed, right? And it is. It perfectly is. So definitely excited to see how this goes.
Yeah, I also like that the hospital director's in the spin, because usually that necessitates a force. Usually you see players bring a seeker with them when
Right.
or something, so he kind of forces a certain approach, I think. And so we can see Blunts has loaded in from the restaurant, I think is where he started, and he's trying to get a quick seeker onto Nakamura there. He gets it, but he also gets a lot of whoosh there. Oh, he gets
a full bar.
He gets
I think he gets it
lockdown
taken off. Yeah, he does get a lockdown there, and that's kind of the thing, right? Like, there's a way to get that seeker shot off early. What he wants to do is he wants to get both the hospital director and Yuki sick at the same time. I think that's going to send them to different bathrooms, though. I don't know if this is going to be the best way to go about this or not. I trust that Blunts has something in mind. Obviously, he'll be able to get Yuki sick here, and he should be able to take a seeker shot from down here as well.
Yep.
Yes, director.
I've actually practiced this approach before, because sometimes a spin kind of demands this, as we can see both of our players are sort of have reached a similar conclusion. So you then have to deal with the fact that you've got both targets have been made sick at roughly the same time, so you need to pacify them as quickly as possible and reach them before the emetic wears off. So Blunts gets Yuki down, gets both of her guards.
Buff has not gotten Yuki sick. Buff is letting her roam still. I think that he's going to use the hospital director now and just take care of the Soda's kill, and he's going to go get Yuki later. I'm not entirely sure.
Maybe
I do like Blunts' setup here, because he's already got the electrocution kill immediately set up. Basically, once he gets to the other side of the hospital, he can just stay there. If he can go and get Nakamura's disguise here before the medic wears off, he'll be good to go. But yeah, I mean, and I don't know if he did this by design, but yeah, he sent him right to his suite as well.
That's just, I think it's a kind of a crapshoot, because I think Yuki could potentially go there as well. It just has to do with the order that you should get the target sick, I think.
Yeah.
If you were to shoot Nakamura first, he'd probably go to Portman's suite, and then Yuki would go to 47's. But
I think that Blunts has it here. If he can get this cleanly, he's in a very, very good situation, because the baseball player disguise is just a quick disguise change.
Yeah, I'd say Blunts is looking pretty strong here, too. It definitely seems to have a bit of an edge. But
Buff is bringing the baseball player disguise out. So he does have the hospital director disguise downstairs. I mean, this might just be him setting it up so that he can come back to it after he sets up a remote kill. I doubt very much that he would actively move toward Yuki in the baseball player disguise, but we've seen stranger things.
Or even in Nakamura's disguise, because she enforces Nakamura.
Yeah, so it's Well, does she actually?
Or no, she doesn't, because you can talk to her as Nakamura, can't you?
Right. Okay. That would be much more difficult indeed.
Do her guards though?
And Buff, yeah, so Buff is looking for the sauna isolation for Yuki here. And I mean the timing should work out pretty well. I don't see it being better than Blunts' setup here, but it's gonna be close. This could be incredibly tight.
Blunts is going in here. He gets into the baseball disguise. He's gonna hit the taser. There's the kill. He's back into the hospital director disguise. And now it's time to get out.
Yeah, very nice. Now he's just got to get himself downstairs, pull off the shotgun kill on Soders, which I think he's already got himself set up.
Oh, wait,
And
what's he doing? He's going for a thrown distraction to bring this guard in here? Oh, boy.
There's this guard is just he's an enforcer of Nakamura. So
yeah.
He's just trying to get by him, and I think he doesn't want to waste too much time.
All right. Works out well.
I think if he would have pulled that trigger, it would have been a bullet impact notice. I think he would have been close enough to hear the gunshot and then hear the bullet hit. Okay, Buff
getting
has
Yuki.
the knockout on Yuki, and he does have the guard also knocked out, which is a pretty substantial.
Now, is this sink going to attract anybody's attention? I'd shut that door. Okay, the door shuts before the water overflows. Oh, he turned off.
The water overflowed just yet.
Yeah. Blunts gets the kill there.
There's the kill.
And his stair slide too.
He's got to get himself out of here. Yeah, this has to go the way of Blunts. I mean, their in-game times are almost identical, but just such a better approach.
Could potentially be photo finish territory, but
without any restarts. I mean,
yeah, I would give it to Blunts for sure.
Yeah, we'll wait out the photo finish window just for the sake of. Actually, Blunts is yet to press the done button.
Blunts, press the done button, sir.
Gotta press that done button.
Okay, Buff gets the kill. And he will have to wait here for a moment for the enforcers to move on so that way he can reach the jet ski. Blunt seems to realize he hasn't hit done yet, so he hits done, and that will be accepted, it looks like. And he will get those 2 points.
And it was so close. So incredibly close, but that is going to go the way of BluntsNBeatz. And BluntsNBeatz gets on the board. Now we're going on to Chongqing.
Awesome.
So almost very similar timings. BluntsNBeatz obviously getting in a little bit earlier and able to take care of both kills a little bit more cleanly, just a little bit more optimized. Yeah, I think that was a much better approach. He didn't have to wait on any type of timing. He was in charge of the whole thing. And yeah, it definitely pays off for him. And he needed a performance like that to stay in the game, obviously.
Yeah, that was really impressive. I won't lie, like I am a big fan of Buff. He's a very good friend. But I really wanted to see Blunts win that map just because I want more. That's going to give us more matches than just the minimum 3 that were guaranteed as a 1st to 6 format. So Blunts taking 2 means that now there's a chance for Blunts to get 4, which means that we would then have a true decider for the first player to get to 6 points. And that's what I want. As much roulette as possible. So 2 minutes from now, we will have a Chongqing spin, looking at our player statistics. 4 wins, 1 loss from Buff Guy. And 1 win, 2 losses from Blunts Guy.
From Blunts Guy.
That Blunts guy. The Blunts guy.
The Blunts guy and BluntsNBeatz, yeah.
Yeah. Exactly right.
Yeah, and we'll be going on in Chong King and lifetime performances here. Again, buff guy with a very strong showing of 4-1. BluntsNBeatz less strong, but not dissimilar experience on the map in a competitive play.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, Chong King is a lot like Hokkaido, where we can see a lot of these spins get done one and done. You know,
Yeah.
and so BluntsNBeatz has been very consistently planning faster than Buff almost the entire match.
Yeah.
I don't think that Buff has beaten him actually loading into the level, and so if he can get this clean all the way through, he might be in a pretty good situation here.
Yeah, could be. And it could also be, hopefully, an interesting spin as well. Something just not so straightforward, you know, like block guard next snap for Hush and facility guard pistol for Imogen. Something really straightforward. Maybe it's a little bit more obtuse than that. But we're going to find out here just a couple seconds. Buckle up. Because we have Hush, Falling Object, as facility guard, and Imogen next snap as dumpling cook. All right. So, it isn't quite so straightforward, but it's also not so obtuse either. It's just the right amount of interesting, I would say. How do you feel about this spin?
Well, it's another one of those spins that's come up that's like, well, yeah, you know, Hush can be killed with a falling object, but there's kind of the go-to falling object kill for Hush. So I think that we're going to see another situation like Mumbai where it's like, okay, it's all about what your setup is going to be for that, and if it's easy enough to replicate that, you're not going to run into issues with it.
Also, I would like to just point out here that Buff has actually planned and loaded faster than Blunts here. So while Blunts has been on top of it for the first three maps here, Buff is not hesitating at all with this one. Jumping straight in from block guard start, not even bothering with a passcode, just blasting straight through the door. He says 2552. I got 2,552 bullets for you.
Yeah, he's going to get through this super quick. And, I mean, it's impressive anytime anybody enters a code correctly on a controller, in my opinion, because it is so irritating.
What is this he's doing here?
He's setting up a micro explosive, I believe, so that when he gets Hush to go downstairs, he can just trigger that. It will drop the falling object that should do enough damage to it. I've not seen this setup done. I don't know how accurate this is going to be.
Is that going to kill the researcher that's there, though?
Not if it's a micro explosive. Micro explosives aren't nearly as lethal. You've got to get them like right on the person. So I'm not sure, and I don't know the exact placement for this, but yeah, Buff is setting this up fairly nicely.
Okay, and it looks like Blunts he's using a phone?
Old method, yeah. I think so. I think he's going to bring Hush down the traditional way, and I think that he's going to be here for it. So, I mean, this could really pay off for Buff and put him in a really good, strong position if he's able to do this remotely, especially as a facility guard, because that's going to take care of having to double back.
Okay, so yeah, this is something that you want to make sure that you get a facility guard disguise up here in time to do it.
Right, exactly. But I mean, if he knows where Hush is on the map, see, there he's at the picture-in-picture. They've recognized that the satellite is busted. They're going to call Hush. He has so much time.
Sure.
And, yeah, Imogen should be out well and away. And, yeah, my guess is we're just going to see multiple checks of the silhouette for Hush. Just to make sure, that he's where he needs him to be. You saw him set down a couple of coins as well. We see Blunts has actually set down a a suitcase here. That might be for the sake of keeping Hush down there as well. But yeah, he's got to go get himself a facility guard disguise. I don't know. He might. Yeah, he's got himself a micro explosive too. So a bit more of a setup, but his timing isn't too far off.
Okay, looks like Blunts is actually setting up the micro explosive as well for the falling object.
And he's put it in a different position than Buff. So if it's like a thing where it needs to be specifically in one spot, you know, and one of the players has it wrong, I mean, that could make the difference here too. Buff knocking out Imogen and the facility guard here, so that is his disguise. Good to go for Hush. And yeah, he's just occasionally checking that that red silhouette, making sure. But yeah, he's got Imogen right here. He's obviously right next to an exit. He just has to bring a dumpling cook back over here, which perfectly plausible.
Yeah, very close. But
this one could come down to the wire too.
So has he sabotaged the satellite then to get Hush moving downstairs to investigate it?
You mean to get Hush downstairs for Buff?
Yes.
Yeah, so he will come down to investigate it himself.
Okay, so there he goes.
Yeah,
actually,
and there you go. There's the falling kill. For Buff, and yeah, he was able to take care of that from well far and away.
He wasn't even looking in the direction when he detonated it. He just knew exactly when to do it.
Just known, yeah.
Wow.
That's outrageous.
Crazy.
Now, Buff is caught in a little bit of a pickle here because he's got these two bodies are going to get knocked out. But he's obviously got this woman who's coming up the stairs, so she is going to come and investigate. Looks like we're going to have a behind the back disguise change here.
And Buff's just going to take her out real quick. Put her in a box so that way she can't take her concern to anybody else. Blunt's unfortunately getting a rip there.
With a non-target kill, probably on Mogwai, unfortunately. Yeah, it's going to be a restart. It was so close yet again. But yeah, this dumpling cook disguise is going to get Buff to Imogen, and then he's right next to an exit. Very, very little chance here for a photo finish.
Yeah. Yeah, this is looking really good for Buff. Just make sure you don't snap any incorrect necks, as it's known to happen. And Buff will be done. First to 6 points. Buff will be advancing on to the winner's bracket round 2 match. Blunts, unfortunately, no longer in the winner's bracket. Down but not out, as I like to say. Down into the lower bracket, the loser's bracket, the LB, where you still get to continue on in the tournament, but if you lose again, you don't anymore.
Yeah, you are officially out.
Great show.
I mean,
really good.
Very good show.
Really well played by both.
And it came down to what we were talking about before, where it was, you know, these things can go very well, or you can have a rip and your opponent can just run away with it. Buff Guy was able to get it taken care of. They both did the exact same setup. Their kill was even very similar to one another, and just unfortunately the non-target kill for Blunts, we didn't get to see anything else beyond that. Even so, Buff Guy with actually pushing into the facility, getting the knockout on the facility guard and Imogen in there, and then basically setting all that stuff up so you didn't have to come back to it later. I think that gave him such an advantage, especially in this matchup. But still well played to BluntsNBeatz. I mean, Buff Guy, you see it right under his name, RR finalist. Nothing to scoff at. Being able to take a map off of him like a Kaido is very impressive.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Really, really good stuff. I think that, as you said, being able to take a map off of a player like Buff is really something, and it's hard to be better. I think that a player like Buff, it's not impossible, but he's been doing this for a while, and he knows the maps really well. Every player has their blind spots and some areas to focus on improving, but Blunts came in with his best game, and I think he should be proud of how he performed. Really
Yeah,
awesome stuff to
absolutely.
see for both players. So we can take a look at the brackets here and kind of see how things have shifted. So we have Buff has moved on and will be facing off against either K Kaneda or TK47. And then the winner of that match will be going on to face GK Punk.
Speaking of players to watch out for,
Yeah.
Punk is on an absolute tear.
Yeah.
So
He sure is.
I would be careful of going up against him. But yeah, anybody at that stage, I feel like it's going to be so much fun to see, because anybody can kind of overtake anybody at this point. But I mean, there's not a name on this list that you don't see and you go, oh yeah, no, I know, that makes sense that they would be there, that they would make it to this round. They're that good of a player.
Right.
So, lots and lots more good matches coming, but many big names to get over if you want to get to those finals.
Right. Taking a look at our brackets here, the loser of K Kaneda versus TK47 will be going down to face off against Blunts in that first losers bracket round 1 matchup. But yes, Buff Guy will be facing off against either K Kaneda or TK, whoever wins in that matchup. And then the winner of that goes on to face GK Punk in winners bracket round 2. Let's take a look at our upcoming matchups. I don't think we have any more for this evening, but we do have a couple more for tomorrow.
Right.
If you visit...
We had one that was running opposite of us, in case anybody was interested. Fanium and Rustle played. Fanium did sweep and wound up winning that one 6-0.
Nice. GG's Fanium.
Yeah, well done, Fanium.
So for Sunday matches, we've got that K Kaneda versus TK47 match. We've got Pinuwer versus Z-Rune, Mr. Mike versus Sparkles, and Barbecue versus Pidgeotto. That's at 7 a.m., 9 a.m., 11 a.m., and 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you visit hitmaps.com and click Fetch Upcoming Matches, you can see those matches listed in your local time zone. We've also got we got one match on Monday, a couple matches on Tuesday, and we've got less and less as we get further and further into the tournament here, because the matches are getting big and exciting, and we're drawing closer and closer to the finals. So every match from here on out is really one that you're not going to want to miss, I would say.
Yeah, top tier Hitman play all the way through.
Definitely. The best of the best, and the action gets real good. So don't miss any of these matches if you can help it. Thank you to our match admin and my co-caster Gunther. I appreciate your time and all of your effort, buddy. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me along. This was a blast as always. I'm really glad that I got to cast this one with you, Barb.
Yeah, man. Always a pleasure. And we're going to kick all of the Hitman peoples over to, I think Buff will probably keep streaming for a bit. So we'll probably just go dump everybody back into his channel so we can hang out with him.
Yeah. Go congratulate him on a match well played.
Definitely. And yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. As always, appreciate you guys coming out and supporting the Hitman game and the Hitman community. We'll catch you at the next match. But until then, take care and see you out there.